It's never entirely clear to me when we are live, but I think we are live now with our 24th installment of Nansen Office Hours. Alex, how you doing this week?
I'm feeling pretty warm because the air conditioning has long been off in this room, but otherwise pretty good. And you? How are you doing?
Well, the air conditioning is not on here, but fortunately it's not Singapore weather. I'm in LA here on the West Coast, so my only gripe is that it's 6 a.m. But what can you do?
Wow. Well, you're 6, I'm 9, so that's good. Nice.
Nice.
What
day is it? 4:20? No.
No. That would have been pretty good. We have to wait almost a whole year for 4:20. It's 9 p.m. here. It's pretty dark.
Cool. How's life out in the Chad capital of the world?
Yeah, I cannot complain. Had some good meetups with some folks this weekend. Got to eat some local chendol, I think. This kind of Singaporean dessert.
Tell me more.
Have you had it? It's like shaved ice. Pretty good. Had one version with durian, which was referred to as gangsta ice.
I think I saw you tweet about that.
Yeah. And but yeah, it's good. It's a good place to be. I mean, there are some restrictions now with COVID because there are some more like clusters breaking out. But otherwise, can't complain really.
But isn't that why DeFi season round 2 is coming upon us? DeFi summer. People thought things would die down when the world opened up, but now the world is saying, "Hey, sit back at your computers, chill out, farm some more shit coins. This party ain't stopping yet."
DeFi Summer Volume 2 is upon us. Yeah, I think it's gonna happen though. I really do think DeFi Summer Volume 2 is gonna happen. What do you think?
Sure, man. If we say it's gonna happen, I mean, we gotta help manifest it.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's good for our physical or mental health, but yeah. It's probably going to happen, and it's probably going to happen on like lots of different chains and like L2s, and it's going to be even more confusing and like hard to keep track of than Volume 1 was. But it could also be a lot more fun, and it could be like a lot more money floating around. So
yeah, I mean, well, we figured out the recipe. Not us. The big brains over at YFI have figured out the secret recipe to extending DeFi Summer Round 2, and it's the answer is WOOFY.
That's right. So basically, they have created a new token which is pegged through a smart contract to YFI, but it has 1/1,000,000th of the unit
something like that.
Unit price. So basically, you get 1 million WOOFY tokens for every YFI. I think that's how it works. I just saw the decimals were like, there were 6 less decimals. I would imagine that means it's 1 millionth. So yeah, and it did seem to have a real effect because it took YFI straight to like $90,000.
Yep.
And it's still hovering, in the 80s. And
yeah. On their website, woofy.finance, WOOFY.finance, you can swap your YFI to WOOFY, or you can woof your YFI, or you can unwoof it.
Okay.
And it's basically like swapping between the units.
It's funny. I saw some people talk about, this is kind of taking advantage of retail or something. I kind of see it as the other way around. It's more like you're saving retail. It's like, look, you can actually buy something that makes sense. And it's still a dog coin, And
there you
go. Would you rather have your child buy a meaningless dog coin or a dog coin that can be redeemed for a DeFi blue chip? I mean, to me, the choice is obvious.
There you go. You heard it straight here from the token god himself. Save your children with the WOOFY token for the sake of their inheritance, for the sake of their bags. You want to send them to college, right?
Exactly.
Buy WOOFY.
Yeah.
All right.
Not investment advice.
Yeah, not investment advice. This is a parody show called Nansen Office Hours. I guess we can give our little intro spiel here. This is a weekly conversation between Alex and I, where we dive into dashboards, explore some on-chain data, crack some bad jokes, talk about what's going on, the latest hot topics in the DeFi world. And so let's not bullshit around too much. Let's dive into some dashboards here.
All right. I was going to say this is like a lower budget SNL, but with better dog coins. And also none of us are taking humanity to Mars, but apart from that, it's pretty similar.
Just to the moon.
Just to the moon. That's right.
Are you Elon in this case?
I don't think so. I really don't want that role. You can be Elon.
No, I'm good, thanks. By the way, if you have any questions, comments, anything like that, projects you want us to dive into, feel free to mention it in the chat on the right-hand side on YouTube. If you're watching this, after a post-recording, so to speak, I think you can see the live chat. So that's one way to kind of keep up. And in the chat already, we've got some hellos from around the world. One of the people in the chat asks, when Alpha meetup in Singapore?
Ooh, that's a great question. As soon as we can meet more than 8 people. Definitely gonna do an Alpha meetup. I think we might, because we probably have more than 8 Alpha customers in Singapore, to be honest. We definitely have more than 8 Nansen customers or subscribers in Singapore. So we will do a physical meetup when we can.
I met up with one of our Alpha customers here in LA yesterday. We went for coffee, and it's really interesting meeting the kind of like eclectic group of people who trade crypto full time. Like kind of the backstory of some people. Most people are not what you would think of as like a crypto native path, but somehow they've gotten into trading crypto 24/7, and everyone's just so immersed in the DeFi world. It's crazy how this industry has emerged in the past year and really formed itself, and like it's a clear career path now. Like this didn't exist before. I mean, kind of like open finance existed, but like DeFi is a legitimate industry.
Yeah. I think eclectic is the right word. You can meet some extremely interesting people in crypto, and many of them have very unique backgrounds, as you say. But it is true that some of the sort of trajectories are quite similar on how they got to where they are. I always love meeting people in the crypto space. And also people are very friendly and open-minded. I think you have to be quite open-minded to jump into crypto this early. So it's a good filter. Maybe we can start by looking at token god mode, because we were talking about WOOFY.
Let's do it.
Can you see my screen now?
I sure can.
Very good. So I've gone to token god mode. I like to use the URL for the tokens. So you just write token symbol equals something, because it makes it easier to like refresh, copy it if I want to save it somewhere else, bookmark it, etc. But so this is showing YFI, 34% of total supply on exchanges, split primarily across Binance, Coinbase, and SushiSwap when it comes to the liquidity. Bit strange there's no more Uniswap. Wow, only 109. Wow, Uniswap is really far down. So basically, SushiSwap has kind of captured that market. That's interesting. Scrolling down, though, you can see on the balance changes, which we can sort here, you see basically the addresses that have been accumulating the most YFI tokens or been sending off YFI tokens. There's a big Huobi deposit wallet that received more than 500 YFI tokens. But the one that we were talking about is this one, Yearn.finance WOOFY token. So about 350 tokens have gone into this contract. And it first received a token at 7:38 p.m. UTC. So that was basically last night in UTC, or pretty much the middle of the night here in Singapore. And and we could have a look at that. But before, yeah, you also see some Alameda transactions here lately, pulling. Is this maybe you should check if this is a purchase or just like removing liquidity. It's always fun to look at this stuff. Okay, yeah, they removed liquidity. Wow, they removed it actually before WOOFY. Did they know? Interesting. Yeah, you can see large transactions taking place here.
Well, they did know. I mean, they must have known because Banteg teased it on Twitter before they actually launched the contract, right?
Yeah. So this was 6:37, May 10th. So it was almost exactly 1 day before, like 24 hours before it was launched. I don't know when it was announced, but it was maybe around then. Looks like it was a pretty good call to do that. Although, wait, so there's... okay, yeah, of course. This is being pulled out from the pool here, goes to the router, and the router like withdraws it to Alameda. And Polychain also, they did the opposite a few days ago, and they added liquidity. So maybe they suffered a bit of impermanent loss on this little run-up, providing liquidity on YFI against Ether. But in any case, like if you scroll down to top balances, you see WOOFY token here climbing the ranks. It is in the, I guess, top 20. These are the 21 first rows. So yeah, it's in the top 20 here. And what we can do, so you see days since first receipt is 0 because it's been launched within the last 24 hours. But we can click on depositors to find out who is actually depositing their YFI into the WOOFY contract. It's a good example because it's a pretty clear, straightforward smart contract. You deposit YFI tokens and you get WOOFY tokens back. This is gonna update because this is just a cached version. You see here 348 tokens. Yeah.
While that loads, maybe you can, or maybe afterwards, you can explain how this new caching system works. Because I mean, we rolled it out a while back, but I don't know if we fully dove into how the caching works.
Yeah, basically, if we have a cached, relatively fresh cached version of the data, we will just display that as soon as you visit the page. So you have something to look at. And in many cases, it doesn't change too much, right? It depends on the specifics, but very often it's quite similar. And then in the background, it goes back and recalculates everything with the latest data, and it will just update it. But you can see on the top right when it was last updated. So here it's like less than a minute ago because it just refreshed now. I think also it only refreshes it if the cache result is more than 5 minutes old. So there's no point like hammering on this like for the next couple of minutes because it's just gonna show the same as what you see now. But if you wait more than 5 minutes, then you can refresh it.
Cool.
Yeah, so you can see here, you have, there's a bot that probably arbed this, right? Where they would basically see that the WOOFY tokens were priced relatively high, so they could tokenize or they could put their YFI tokens in, get WOOFY tokens, and then dunk them on the, I guess, SushiSwap or Uniswap pool. I think it's Uniswap because they use V3 to have a pretty tight band. And that's probably some of it. So like some portion of it is just arbing. But you see some like a Gnosis safe proxy, so that's a multi-sig. You see an elite DEX trader, which might also have been arbing. You see like some smart LPs, and then you see some of these ENS names like Future. That's a cool name. A multi-sig owner.
It'd be cool if
your mom.eth.
If when you hover over these in the future, if we could have like a tooltip with the different names, because sometimes someone, like for example, that future.eth, not sure who that is, but they might have like 6 different ENS names on that we might recognize another one.
True. It would be quite nice with hover over and like display the other labels. I like it. If the product team is watching, please take a note. Yeah. So this is the WOOFY token. You could also, there's another thing you could look at, which is the opposite. So who's been receiving WOOFY tokens? And I guess these two would be quite similar. But if you'd go down here, now I just brought up token god mode, but for WOOFY, and it shows similar things. It also shows like the zero address distributing them, right? And you see many of the same names that we saw before in the other contract. We see them here as well. You can actually see Banteg here, Smart Money Banteg, receiving. I guess he did the first mint, or not? No, this is the first mint. My bad. 20 or the big. Sorry, not the first mint, the largest mint. And he did one of the other very large mints here. What is that? That's 23.5 YFI, right? So that gives you 23.5 million WOOFY. But he put it into that pool. Okay. Anyway, so you could go down here, and you could look at. Let's see if we sort by cent, perhaps. Let's see if that works. I wanted to get the zero address, but maybe it's not here. What we can do, just a workaround, is like we look at the top recipients, right? So who's been receiving WOOFY tokens? So I'm just going to click any of these, and then I'm going to grab the zero address as well and just like paste it in manually. Just grabbing this one here, and I'm going to replace the sender here like that. And now this should show me who has been minting WOOFY tokens. And I guess this would be very similar to, if not identical to, the top depositors.
Okay, hold on. Can you just re-explain that from scratch? Because that's some big brain stuff. I didn't follow.
Okay. So we looked at top depositors, right? This was showing you people that on a net basis have deposited YFI tokens into the WOOFY contract, right? Now, what I was thinking is, let's look at the inverse, right? Who has been receiving WOOFY tokens from the zero address, right? So the recipients would be the ones that receive the WOOFY tokens on the other side. So this bot, right? It's been depositing YFI tokens, and it also has been receiving WOOFY. And so there's obviously going to be a big overlap in these two. There's Banteg here. There's
why isn't there 100% overlap?
Why isn't it 100% overlap? I guess you could go via other contracts, for example, right? I don't know if anyone has built integrations already, but like you could imagine having some kind of smart contract that sits in between and then channels that through. You could, for example, have an integration with a Uniswap pool or something where they're just going through that, or like a DEX aggregator or something like that. So it doesn't necessarily have to be one-to-one. There could be stuff in between.
I guess the other thing is like top depositors takes a snapshot of the current top depositors. And so once if you go in and then you come back out, then you would no longer show up in the top depositors. Whereas top recipients, it's almost like a kind of leaderboard of the amount that you've received. Is that right?
Yeah, although recipients are also net. So I don't think that's the explanation. I think it's more like you could have contracts that sit in between them. But maybe this is like kind of a technical.
So on top recipients, let's say you receive an airdrop, we can still analyze the airdrop even if you've dumped your airdrop.
Oh yeah. No, that's true. Sorry, when I say net, I mean net with the sender address. So it's like, let's say you receive an airdrop and you send the tokens back to the same address that sent you the tokens, which you would never do, but like let's say you did, then it would net out. It would like cancel out.
Sure, but
if you send it another place, then it would still show up as like, you received net, 1 million tokens or whatever.
So for example, if Banteg here went through the that WOOFY contract, he deposits 23.5, or I guess 27.5 YFI, receives 27,500,000 WOOFY, and then stakes or like LPs WOOFY and YFI. Then the numbers would be different on top depositors and top recipients.
I don't think so, because like it would still be 27.5 here, even if he sends it somewhere else.
In recipients, yes, but he's not on top depositors, which is the point.
Yeah, but the question is like, why is he not on top depositors, right? And that's where I'm not actually sure if it's because he might have gone through like an intermediate contract. Like, let's say you make a smart contract, you deposit tokens into that, and then that is the one that deposits the tokens into the WOOFY contract. Then the intermediate would look like the depositor. But I don't know what the exact answer is in this case. So this is like a general explanation.
Maybe he's that Gnosis safe proxy and it rounded up to 28 because he was at 27.5.
Yeah, that could very well be. Yeah. Maybe there's a way to specify who should receive the WOOFY tokens. Or what is it? WOOFY.finance? Add token. Okay. Yeah. Well, trade on much. Oh, cool. Yeah. Okay. Well, I was just wondering if there's a way you can actually specify if someone else gets the token. In any case, it might be like an aggregator or something in between. I don't know why it would be different in this case, because I would imagine that you would see 27.5 on this side too. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I don't know why. We might have to figure that out offline and ask Bantech.
Welcome to Office Hours, where we bring up more questions than we answer.
Yeah. Nice. Well, in any case, this is a WOOFY token. It's 350, almost 350 YFI tokens have been converted to 348 million WOOFY tokens. And yeah, there's already market for it. People are trading it. Your mom has it. What can I say?
All right. Well, let's transition then onto the next topic. We've got quite a bit of engagement here in the chat, and our friend Alvin is asking if we can take a look at the Weiward contract, which I believe we did have queued up.
Yeah. So where's the address? Do you have it? I don't have it.
That's a great question. I think he shared it. Let me. So while you search, you can pull up app.weiward.org.
How do you even spell this? I feel like a boomer now. Weiward.
WEIWARD.
Like this?
Yes, sir. .org.
.com? .org. Let's do it. I have to connect my wallet. Okay. Well, let's see.
Right, you want me to hide your thing real quick?
Maybe you can. Oh, you can do that? That's cool.
Well, I'll just take your screen share off for just one hot sec.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
All right.
Now ready?
Yes, you got.
Now it's like changing my swimming shorts on the beach or something. Let's see. Boom. I think I'm good to go. Let's have a look. We're gonna connect my wallet.
All right. No rush. And while you're there, I also sent in our in the StreamYard chat a link.
Okay, so I can swap.
Wait. We good to go now? Your swimming shorts are on?
My swimming shorts on, sir.
Okay.
I'm good to go. I've plugged in my public wallet.
All right.
And I'm ready to do some swapping, although I have no idea what this is.
So, you have what is that? You've got 8.9. Oh, is that ETH? Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Whale.
Well, don't know about that. So we want to get the address of this. Is that the thing we're trying to do?
Yeah, but I actually sent it in the StreamYard chat. Yeah.
Sweet. Let me pick it up. Boom. You have the link there. Nice. Counterparties. So why did I change to my swimming shorts then?
Well, just to buy time.
Okay, nice.
And just to, give people some context in case they haven't looked at Weiward app before.
Yeah, some context from, like, I've actually not looked at this thing before. So what does it do?
I think it's an AMM for tokenized gas, was my understanding.
Oh, okay, nice.
What that means in a practical sense, I'm not entirely sure. I think Young did a quick analysis. Let me see if I can pull up his quick analysis here on Weiward. Weiward, a fair launch gas AMM, not investment advice. Weiward is an ETH gas AMM where people can buy ETH-TX, where one ETH-TX represents 21,000 gas. Stakers mint ETH MX by depositing ETH. This ETH collateralizes the protocol. Buyers buy ETH-TX with ETH. Outstanding ETH-TX becomes liabilities of the protocol. The price of ETH-TX increases/decreases according to reported gas prices, but redemption within the platform is capped by the collateral/liability ratio.
Interesting. So it's a way to speculate on gas, right? On the gas price.
Yeah, basically.
So what do you think? Gas, is it going up or down? Like, I mean, this is a whole section on its own, which we could talk about either now or later. But gas price has been going up again since we last did an office hour, and it's primarily because of Uniswap and all these dog coins that are being traded. People often ask, like, why is gas so high, or like what's driving gas? It's like literally just go to this dashboard, pro.nansen.ai/gas tracker. And whenever you ask that question, you can almost always you can find the answer here. Because what we do is we aggregate not just on the address level, but to the entity level. So instead of just looking at, say, one Uniswap router, we look at all the different Uniswap pools across V1, V2, and V3. And we aggregate, hey, here's how much gas is being consumed by Uniswap. And if you look at the share of gas fees that are spent per entity, and this is for the top 20 entities, right? So we're only looking at the biggest ones. Uniswap is like more than 50% of all the gas consumption, right, among the top 20. And if you scroll down and want to look at what's the distribution across all of the different contracts, right, not just the top 20, it's still like 36% of all gas consumption is only Uniswap. So why is gas price high? Because of Uniswap. And it's not like that's a bad thing. It just means people use Uniswap a lot and they really like using it and they trade on it a lot. If you wanted to break down even further, you could go and look at the individual accounts, like Uniswap V2 router. That's still the most used smart contract on Ethereum in terms of an individual smart contract. But you see right away, there's also Shiba Inu, SHIB token. And which pool is the most used? SHIB wrapped Ether. And there's a V2 and there's a V3 SHIB as well. And then there's another one, another dog, Kishu. And then the Kishu token as well. So Kishu token, SHIB token. Basically, it's like dog coins on Uniswap. That's what's happening.
There you go. I heard a big brain take yesterday regarding gas fees about where they'll end up. And I think the answer is always the amount of gas consumed on average will always be as much as possible. And the kind of take is when you look at things like, computers have definitely improved, like computer hardware. So the capacity has definitely improved on, like, if you're making movies or something, like the rendering time has definitely improved, and like the amount of graphics you can process. But regardless of that, people will always push the forefront of what the technology allows. And I think similarly here with the Ethereum blockchain, people, if we can start optimizing gas and like reducing the amount of gas for a transaction, then we'll just figure out ways to make more complex things. Yeah. And so yeah, I think the amount of gas will always just be pedal to the metal.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. I also think that I mean, there's kind of a similar analogy to, for example, software, right? Or like the size of a website, or like bandwidth usage in internet usage. And I think the other thing is that like you can push things to the brink. That's one thing. The other part is like if there is any spare capacity, then people just will become lazy and optimizing it. So there's like there's no real incentive to like package things in a smaller way. And so it just bloats out and it fills up the remaining space. So I think that it makes sense in terms of an analogy, and it's probably true. And many people have said this, right? If you look empirically at every time we've increased the gas limit on Ethereum, it doesn't take long before it's filled up again, and gas prices like back to where it was before.
Yeah. So going back to Weiward here.
Yeah.
Maybe we can pull up that link that I sent with the wallet profiler and just kind of
should be this one, right?
Yeah, maybe you can just highlight some of the things that one could look at on this.
Yeah, so what we've done here is we've just plugged in. Let's say you just either you made a trade with Weiward, or you found out how to get the address for it. You could plug it into a wallet profiler, and you can click this counterparties tab, and it will show you, where the ETH is coming from, both at an entity level, although in this case, most of it is coming from like unknown entities. So it's probably individuals who are like aping into this contract. But you can scroll down and look at top interacting wallets. And what I often do is I sort by volume in Ether, because that shows me how much Ether has been sent from these different addresses into the one that we're looking at right now. And so here, right away, I see some smart money. I see a smart whale. I see a smart flashboy. I see some other interesting addresses, like an uncommon NFT collector, a GRT distribution participant, another one here, some medium DEX traders. Boom, Anthony Gossage.eth.
The man, the legend. The
man, the legend. I would ape. Smart LP, Iris.eth, uncommon NFT. This is even an epic NFT collector here. I want to bring that up. I'm curious what they have been collecting. Yeah, OpenSea users. It's surprising, like a lot of NFT related things here. More OpenSea users. Toxic Poeth, Scumbus.eth. Yeah, there's definitely some like smart money in this, which is curious. I would probably want to figure out like what are these guys actually doing? Are they like minting, or are they trading? Probably they're minting, right?
Yeah, I think the next step here is just wallet profiler for token with the ETH or something like that.
Yeah, or just to show one other thing, which is not very conveniently linked, but it should be from the wallet profiler, the wallet pair profiler. Because let's say you wanted to figure out what this Flashboy was doing, right? You could like grab this address of this Flashboy, plug it into the wallet pair profiler, and then grab the address that we were looking at, the contract there. And this is going to like surface all the interactions between these two. So all the interactions that the address has made with this contract.
Is that the purpose of this dashboard? I did not know.
I mean,
the way I've used it is like to see if like two wallets have interacted in the past. It's just kind of like a way of like, if you see address A and you think that, oh, maybe it's associated with address B, if it's like a fund, for example, I would plug them in here.
Yeah, so many of our dashboards have multiple different use cases. And wallet pair profiler can definitely be used to see if two addresses have any connection, like any direct connection with each other. But it could also be useful to figure out like what kind of interactions they have, if you know they have interactions, like in this case. And I think it would be quite nice if in this top interacting wallets, we actually had a link to wallet pair profiler, because then you'd be able to drill down directly from this Flashboy and say, hey, what did this Flashboy actually do with this contract? Like we did now, but we had to do this step in between. And here we see they sent 30 Ether in one transaction. And now we can drill down on that transaction, and we can see they transfer 1 ETH in. Maybe you want to look at the logs, and there's this deposit event. So I guess that means that probably not a swap, it's probably a mint, right? I would imagine. But yeah.
Well, you can see, so swap ETH TX and then mint ETH MX. So it looked like they received ETH MX though, right?
Yeah, they did actually. You're right. Yeah, mint a token from 0. Yeah. Okay. So maybe that's what you were saying. Like we should look at this one to see who minted it. Was that what you were thinking earlier, or?
Yeah. Well, what's it called? Wallet profiler for token for ETH MX.
Okay. Let's see. Wallet profiler for token.
Just because I have no idea what they're doing with this afterwards. Like if they market.
Oh, but this requires a token symbol, and I don't think this has been added yet.
Can you check?
You can check, but I doubt it. I guess we can find out. Let's see. ETH.
No.
Not there. We could look at top recipients. So what is the thing you want to find out, actually? Maybe you can ask that
just what they're doing with the token. With
what are they doing? Oh, okay. Well, then maybe we can just look at the token god mode for like custom, right? To see what they're doing.
Like they receive it and then what? That's the question.
Let me just check if it's it's an 18 decimal. Yeah, I just plugged in up here the token address.
So for context, so we don't leave the people in the dust here, the reason why we couldn't check wallet profiler for token on this one is just because we haven't whitelisted the address yet. But
which is kind of silly, and like it's it's a quick fix.
Yeah, that's the important part. It's a quick fix. We just need to whitelist the token. It's usually the new tokens. We just need to whitelist them first. So it's an easy lookup.
So it looks like more than 50% of these tokens are going into this transparent upgradable proxy. Should we do a deep down on the depositors on that to see if some of these smart money guys are like depositing their ETH MX tokens in here? I would imagine that that's the stake. Let me see, like this one, right? I would imagine that's what it is. Boom, look at that. Smart Whale, 120. Anthony Gossage, 80. The smart guys were leaking alpha. This is pretty cool. This is pretty cool, Jonas.
It is.
Into the ETH, airdrop capital, dark blue chain. It's only 47 addresses here. Fascinating.
Can you sort by first in, please?
Can. Heavy Dex trader. Nifty.
Well, yeah, all these guys came in around the same time, 45 hours ago.
And then they told the big guys, and then the big guys came in.
Well,
and some more big guys came in.
Some of the big guys probably wait just briefly to see if it's not a rug pull. Not necessarily a rug pull, but like
just some vulnerability. Vulnerability. See, this is the air conditioning. Lack thereof. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, this is pretty cool actually.
Thank you, Alan, for suggesting that one.
Yeah, this is something I would look at more closely. Probably should have before that, but leaking some alpha here, loving it.
All right. Next in the chat, any plans on analysis of non-Ethereum blockchains? Asked by Journey Lee.
Yes. So we are working on. We're actually basically finished with data integration for Polygon, which is a sidechain or an L2 to Ethereum. And you can see this dashboard here that we have built that shows some kind of macro stats for the Polygon ecosystem. And this is going to be released hopefully the end of this week to everyone. Actually, to all, not just Nansen users. It's going to be a public dashboard that everyone can look at. But then, more interestingly, we're going to add sort of the core components of Nansen in terms of token god mode, wallet profiler, top depositors, hot contracts. We're going to make that available for Polygon as well. So that means when DeFi Summer Volume 2 kicks off, you have all your favorite tools to inspect the farms that you might want to be in. So that's happening with Polygon. We're doing the same thing with BSC. We're not quite done with the integration on the data side there. We're also doing this with Optimism, which is, it's still pretty early, but hopefully we can hit the ground running when Optimism hopefully takes off in usage. Then there are a few other chains or L2s that we're looking at, like Arbitrum, StarkNet or Starkware's solution. And then there are a few non-EVM based chains like Solana that we're also looking at, but I don't think we're going to have support for them this quarter because they're very different. So the data integration work is not really transferable from the Ethereum stuff. But if you
sorry to interrupt. How are we evaluating these different L2s and prioritizing them?
Yeah, I mean, it's always like effort and value, right? So value is basically users telling us, hey, can you add this chain? So the ones that we are working on now, like Polygon, BSC, we've had users ask about them for like months already. And it's been picking up, especially Polygon has been picking up lately. And Solana is another example. Like a lot of people ask about Solana. So that's why we are considering it. Of course, so that's on the value side, like how much value does it bring to our users? The other component is effort. And Polygon is not that, it wasn't that much. I mean, it was a lot of work, definitely, but we could reuse some of the ingestion tools that we've used for Ethereum L1. But with something like Solana, you have to kind of start from scratch because it's so different. It's not EVM based. The transaction throughput is like much higher. And so if you know anyone who wants to work on Solana integration, please let us know because we might want to talk to them. It's not something we've started working on actively yet, but we might have to actually go out and hire someone who is an expert on Solana to get that up and running.
Cool. All right. Should we keep going through these through the requests here?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, I'll list out some options here, and you can take your pick. So we've got either Opium or Sand.
Or Sand.
Sand. Or we can chat about how GST2 is different from Kai token, which I'm not sure we have the answer to. The gas tokens.
Yeah. Which one did they compare with Kai token? What was the first one?
GST2, I guess. Gas tokens.
Okay, gas tokens. Okay. I can't really answer that. I mean, I think gas tokens pretty much like a fork of gas token 2 because there's also 2 different gas tokens. But it has some improvements. I'm not sure what those improvements are specifically, although I can show you something kind of cool, which is if you look at our ETH tracker dashboard, we have an overview of Ethereum contracts being deployed to the mainnet. And an interesting thing to look at is it's kind of gone in waves where like the first wave of Ethereum contracts being deployed was like a bunch of different addresses. Then there was a lot of minting of empty contracts, which I think was related to the first version of a gas token, but I'm not 100% sure. I think so. Then there was a wave of gas token, and I think this is gas token 2. And then there was a big wave of Kai token. So you can kind of see how like Kai token has like taken the place of gas token. And why would it do that? Presumably because it's better. So maybe it's more gas efficient or something like that, or in the minting of it. I'm not actually sure, but this is what you can see in the data, at least. Like it's used a lot more than gas token, and it seems to have displaced the usage of gas token altogether.
I seem to recall some speculation that this would kind of die out, though, as people start using things like flash bots. But maybe I'm mistaken about that.
Why would it do that, though? I mean,
oh, sorry. Maybe it wasn't about flash bots. It was about Vitalik tweeting something about.
Oh, you mean sorry. You mean yeah. So you mean it would die out because people are using the Flashbots alpha network where they can set a zero gas price transaction and just bribe the miners.
Maybe
instead.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I remember something
that makes sense.
Saying it would kind of reduce in the future.
Yeah, that could make sense. I mean, you can see that the minting of it has gone down, and then it sort of popped back up again. Yeah, so you'd imagine that could happen because you would just bypass the whole gas price auction altogether and just bribe the miners instead, right? So then you don't need the Kai tokens anymore.
All right. So let's dive in on either sand or opium real quick.
Okay. So here's sand.
So the question in its original formulation is, what does the token god say about opium or sand? Is smart money moving into, away, or staying with these two projects? So I think that's an interesting way of kind of asking the question of like, what is smart money? How is smart money interacting with this? So what is, just kind of opine maybe for a little bit about these about these tokens as you look at the token god mode dashboard and maybe even smart money dashboard.
We should probably have something here that just answers that question more directly. For example, what proportion of the supply is held by smart money addresses? I think that would be quite useful if we had that. We don't have that. So you have to actually now scroll through this and maybe click through some of the balances. So you might look at the top balances for sand. And the nice thing about smart money addresses is that they have these little emoji with glasses. And so they are quite easy to spot visually by just clicking through. Now I don't see any smart money. Oh, boom, there's one. There's one smart LP that has 140,000 sand tokens. Clicking through a bit more. Don't really see any other ones. But you could then double click on that one, let's say. So smart LP, you go and look at the profiler. So what did they actually do with this token? They received it 204 days ago. So they've had it a long time. It looks like they received 600,000 and sent out 460,000. So let's see what they did with those tokens.
One thing I'll flag, and you can correct this if it's wrong. A lot of our smart money labels are more surrounding how they're interacting with DeFi. So if they're farming a lot, or if they're using flash loans or stuff like that. And I think in some of these projects that did like an ICO, they didn't necessarily do the fair launch, so to speak, where the token was farmable. There's less smart money participation. It's not necessarily a point against it. It's just, the way we're tracking things doesn't necessarily pick it up as precisely as we would a DeFi project that gets farmed. What would you say about that?
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Like, especially the smart LP tag, which is literally measuring how much yields they've generated. So yeah, I think that's a fair point. But it is still interesting to look at what is, like, I've said this many times, but like every smart money plugged into a wallet profiler dashboard is a case study, right? Like you can learn something from it. So what is this address thinking with this token? So they received 600,000 of them, right? And then you see, boom, there's been outflow of the token. And you can scroll down and you can actually see the specific transactions that took place there. So if you sort this by time to make it a bit more legible, you see they received the tokens on October 20th, and then in February they started transacting them out, or like sending them out. So what did they do? They sent them to Uniswap V2 pool, Sand, Ether. Did they sell, or did they just provide liquidity? Well, to answer that, you could just click through on the transaction, right? And you can see, let's see what the first one did. It swapped. So it basically dumped these Sand tokens and dumped more Sand tokens here. I would imagine they did the same in the other cases too, but like if you wanted to be sure, you could just click through them, right? So they swapped, that means they sold, they swapped, they swapped. I'm just looking at the transaction action down here. They swapped and they swapped. So they've been selling the tokens like that. They've gone from like 600,000 to 140,000.
Although not so much in the last month. They've just been sitting on it in the last month.
True. That is true. Now, if you look at the price of it, they started selling it on the way up. Actually, maybe I shouldn't have closed that. Oh, wait, I didn't close that. So we closed another one. So they started selling like Feb 12, 13. So they were like, started taking profits like here. And then when did they stop taking profits? Like March. They've not sold since March 29th. So like here.
Wow. Wow. They actually marked the top pretty much.
Yeah.
Or maybe what was it on that little pullback? Like
here. Yeah. This one.
Wow. Maybe they caused that dump. Well, I think Andrew Kang had a tweet about that recently. Something like, unless you are marking the top or the bottom, don't fight the trend.
Yeah.
This guy marked the top.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting actually. So there's a what I don't know what they were. I guess they were just trying to take profits, and then eventually they almost like capitulated on their selling. They were like, maybe I'll just hold the rest, but then it started going down.
Well, so here
I did manage to sell some on the top though. Yeah.
Could you just double explain here? So it says token price, but then on the blue line says price ETH.
Yeah, this is the price against Ether.
So I guess it kind of makes sense. I mean, ETH has had quite a rally in the last little while. It makes sense that it's gone down relative to ETH. So the USD price might have also been going up in this time.
Oh yeah, it was, certainly going up in this time. But then, you mean like USD price might have gone up here as well? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. I don't know if this chart is
probably not, because it went from like 45 right here to like 1, so it's like 80% down. Right.
Well, ETH has doubled ish, so yeah, maybe not up.
Yeah, but not that much, but yeah. I mean, this is an easy thing to answer, right? So you just look at Sand. It won't look as dramatic, of course, but like it's probably gone down. There was like a peak there, I would imagine. Zooming out here.
Wow, that's interesting. Price action.
Right. So that was the peak. Yeah. Around here. Right.
Well, that's smart money, I'd say, is validated that they are intelligent. They've definitely kept their ETH balance there.
Yeah. I mean, they started selling a bit early though, but yeah. Well, yeah, but you're right though. They were selling against Ether, so and Ether was pumping. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Right. It's worth looking at. This is the thing, right? You can go really granular and look at individual wallets. You don't have to only look at these like macro metrics all the time.
Yeah. Do we have kind of an answer for the gentleman that asked the question? What is smart money doing?
I mean, in this case, it looks like they were actually just taking profits on Sand and taking them in Ether.
Yeah.
Right? All right, that's how I was reading it.
Sample size of 1. So
sample size of 1.
Take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, that is very true. But like sometimes these sample sizes can weigh quite heavily. Like if they have impact on the market.
Yeah. I think that,
but yeah, like if you wanted to understand, we should have an aggregated version of the smart money in token god mode, so you can see like what is the smart money doing at a high level. You could approach this in another way, which is to look at the smart money dashboard, and this has more aggregations, but this is like across all sorts of tokens and addresses, so you won't necessarily find sand in this one. Right.
You could also do smart money for token and toss in
Oh,
sand.
yeah, that's a good idea. So how do we do that again?
Smart money profiler. If you scroll down a little bit.
Sorry. Yeah,
there
we go.
And then click on
this
profile,
one, right?
and then swap out the token.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's maybe how to do it, right? Let's see. Let me sand.
Or if you still have the CoinGecko up.
Have this. Really? I think this is kind of ridiculous, but I think that's actually because of this not being lowercase.
Really?
That doesn't sound right to me. Like
that it doesn't work?
I think this is like, yeah.
What?
That's ridiculous. Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous.
Nansen is entirely in beta mode. Like the whole product is in permanent beta.
Yeah. So it
I
doesn't look like they're.
I would sort by balance here. First of all, yeah, just to see who's kind of like in it still.
That's our friend, right? The one we looked at.
Let's see.
I closed the other one. Damn. Why did you? Okay. Well, I closed it. No, here we go. Yeah, okay, we could find him again quickly. I just want to make sure that that's actually the one. 0xb54. 0xb. Yeah, it's this guy. So that's actually that's what you visually saw in the other dashboard too, right? You just went through all the balances and saw this is the first smart money. This is the same thing filtered down. So in fact, why don't we just have this inside of token god mode, right? Like just show the token holdings of smart money addresses inside of token god mode. I think that would be quite useful.
Mm-hmm.
Like a filter on the top balances, but only for smart money.
Mm-hmm.
And so what are they doing? Well, there are actually 2 addresses that have been increasing their balance, but it's very little, like $12,000 over the last 30 days, 1,500, so almost nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and if you sort the other direction on change, there was that one person who had sold quite a bit.
Yeah, that's a good one. They basically dumped all their stuff. Yeah.
It could be that this token is going to moon soon, and we're just giving complete counter signals.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing, right? Like you have to look at this from different perspectives. We don't know shit about this project. Like we have not looked at it at all. But like from the on-chain data, you see one smart money address that seems to have either sold off or like sent these tokens somewhere else. You see this other one that we just inspected that had like 600,000 tokens and has been selling it into ETH and just kept like a small chunk. So yeah, I mean that's 2 data points, right? Could mean something. You don't see like what I would say is like we don't see a lot of bullish accumulation on this. Now that doesn't mean that it won't pump, but like you don't see that yet, at least.
Mm-hmm. Well said. Well said. All right. So there are a couple questions about projects here. I don't think we quite have time, but maybe we can answer some of these other sort of account-related questions.
Mm-hmm.
One is there a way to get a discount if I'm a regular viewer of your office hours for a yearly subscription? Well, so there is a discount for the yearly subscription already.
Wow. Alpha Leak, get ready.
What is it? I don't even remember what it is. I think it's.
Is it? I didn't know we had one.
Well, so if it's 150 a month, if you're paying standard,
okay,
and then if you pay for a year, it's 1,400.
That's right. So you save $388, I think, on a yearly basis.
Correct.
149 or 116, aka 1,400.
And then, yeah, Director in the chat here mentions that we had a discount with Rect a while back. That is true, and we will likely do some more kind of partnership ones in the future. So that's the other option, is kind of wait until we do another little promotion with some partners in this space.
That's like a terrible sales advice, though.
Well, we want to help people.
But do we have? I mean, do we have any specific up? Because now it sounds like, yeah, next week you're gonna get like a
not in the pipeline. So sorry,
you don't have any, right?
Director, you're gonna make me lose my job here.
Just don't.
We'll cut off the stream before this won't be in the recording.
Yeah, don't hold your breath. I mean, yeah, it might happen, right? But there's nothing specific planned.
Yeah. And I think that's about it. There were some questions about like looking at render and here RNDR. I don't think we quite have time here, but for anyone watching later on, that's topical these days, supposedly, if someone's asking. All right. Anything to add before we wind down here, Alex?
No, I think we managed to cover a lot of ground. Probably worth looking at that. Can you remind me of the name of the one we looked at where we saw these smart money guys jumping in? Weiward.
Yeah.
Weiward. Yeah. That's probably one I would look at. I mean, do your own research. I've literally never looked at that project before, but looked interesting. The on-chain activity is like exactly what you want to see, like some smart money interacting with it, putting some money into it.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised at the number of people who have interacted with it, because I did see it mentioned in like Lobster DAO and some of these other places. It really seems like it was just a small handful of people who aped in. Yeah, exactly. It was like, how many people do we see? Like 50 addresses or something like that. It's like very little. Yeah. That being said, I mean, the price action on ETH has been pretty crazy over the past week, and if you're burning ETH to turn it into Weiward, I think you really got to think through what the implications are if you're reducing your exposure to ETH for this gas token. Yeah, that is a good point. And you also have to consider, when you see someone put like 30 ETH into a project, you also have to look at what their total balance is, right? Like it might be a small portion of their portfolio. Yeah, exactly. Cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. We will be adding sections to this video if you ever want to come back and watch it again in the future and find a specific part. If you have any questions throughout the week, feel free to hop into Discord or tweet at us. And thank you very much. Thanks very much, guys. Take care. Catch you later.